Hello, it's Sally from Sally Bead Jewelry, and I'm going to do a quick demo today on how to basically convert your cLon cord to be a needle so that you don't have to double up your cord through a needle and risk breaking your bead when trying to get that doubled cord through some of the smaller check bead holes. Like the Rizzos have a fairly small hole, so does the twin, the Super Unos or Super Duos. A lot of the check drops have a fairly small hole, and these are some of the new triangle beads. So I'm going to just show you quickly. The best thing to do is to use a super glue. This particular one that I found has a brush on cap, which makes it easy for applying the glue to your cord. It's very much like using a clear nail polish, which also works, but the super glue does stiffen the cord up a little bit better than your fingernail polish. Thanks to Jamie North on that. She's the one who told me to use super glue instead of the fingernail polish, and I really do like it. So shout out to Jamie. So anyway, you'll see that there is a nice cap style brush here, and all you have to do is just brush on the glue. I usually kind of just do one side and then the other, and it dries pretty quick. Make sure you re-put the cap on, tighten it up. You don't want it to go, get dried up or tip over and lose some. And then you can either blow on it, wait for it to dry, but so that this will be a little quicker, I'm just going to take a napkin and just kind of run it through. And you can see that it's pretty dry already. It's pretty stiff. You can see that I'm pushing on it and it's not really bending much. And then what you can do is take your scissors and just cut on an angle the tip. Give it a nice little quick snip, just like that. And then you can see that there's a nice little point on the tip of the cord. So now that the cord is nice and stiff, you can actually use this cord as your beading needle. And that way it's a single cord that you're putting through the hole and not trying to double it up through a needle. And you can see that here's some, the rice or Rizzo type beads, and they're, sliding on quite nicely. Here's one of the check drops. Another check drop, and one of these Unos, or not Unos, but Duos, and it goes through very nicely. Same thing with these new triangle beads. You can see that, it just loads up very nicely. And even doing your seed beads, now that you have it stiff, it'll load up very easily, just like if you were using a needle. These again are some check beads where the hole is a little bit smaller than usual. So I find that this really works well. The other thing that I wanted to cover under this particular little training session here is that when you're using any of the duo beads where you're going to be using both holes, make sure that you examine the bead before you use it. Sometimes the bead will have just a little bit of debris in the hole, and just using a pin or a needle you can just kind of poke through and make sure that there's no debris in there. And if there is debris and you're poking it and for some reason you crack the bead, it's better to do that before you've used the bead and then try to unclog the hole after you've already, braided it in. And then sometimes with these dual hole beads, they're missing a hole altogether. So here's one where there's supposed to be 2 holes, one here and one here, and one of those holes is just completely missing. They didn't do it properly. So if you were to use this bead and didn't look at it, you know, you could have loaded it up, and then once you braid the bead in, if you were to come back and want to use the second hole after it's already been, in your braid, you're going to be in trouble because there's no hole there, and no amount of reaming or whatever is going to help that situation. So you would have to back out and start all over again. So it's much better to just take a quick look at the bead before you use it. Sometimes what I'll do is just, if I'm going to be using the one on the tip, I'll just poke it through the bottom, make sure that they go through both holes, and then put it through the one that you're supposed to be using, and continue on. So hopefully these tips will help you out a little today, and hope you enjoyed the video. That's it from me. Bye-bye.